Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I am in a public area in Denver on Clear Creek, and I have some very minimal gear here, plus a sluice box. I don't consider that minimal, but I never bring it out, so I decided to bring out my sluice box today, and I'll lay out my gear. I'll show you what I'm using to find some gold today. Now, if you didn't know, gold is actually now worth, I checked it today, 1 ounce of gold is worth $3,313. 3313 for 1 troy ounce. So, I mean, even if we find a small amount of gold, which I am expecting to find, hopefully, if we're lucky, that little bit should be worth, it could be worth a couple dollars, could be worth 50 cents, but it's all about coming out here and enjoying the day. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, starting here on the left, we have 2 5-gallon buckets, and I like to bring one of these small buckets to bring my concentrates home in. I also have a Arbor Fabricating classifier. This is a 1/2 inch. I probably should have brought my 1/4 inch because we're gonna be running it through this sluice box. This is from Dream Mat. I have my snuffer bottle. Of course, I have my shovel, water boots, and my gold pan. So Clear Creek looks pretty good today. Got a nice little flow going. And right down here by timber, you can see there's actually a pretty decent little amount of running water right about here. I'm gonna put the sluice box right about here. I'm just gonna set up some rocks, build a little wall around it, and then so we have a good amount of flow going through the sluice. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this thing up, and then we can start mining. I put a couple rocks around it and built a small little wall or a channel to get a little bit better water flow. I'm gonna dig out a small pit at the end of the sluice box just to create a place for the tailings to go. All right, now I'm just gonna go ahead and classify a full bucket of material and start sending it through the sluice. We have a good amount of water going through. That should be good. Okay, I've got that bucket pretty much full of classified material. Timber is here, he wants a treat, so there you go. Let's go ahead and start shoveling that into the sluice. So for whatever reason, I didn't grab my 1/4 inch classifier. This is a 1/2 inch. So when I'm running the material through here, there's gonna be 1/2 inch and smaller pieces, rocks, running down here. So I gotta be really careful when I'm doing this, because this is normally a cleanup sluice, but I'm still very confident that this Dream Mat will recover very, very fine gold. I've used these Dream Mats for a long time and always had good results. All right, so my logic is to dig a hole right here at the end of the sluice box. That way, after I get all that material out, I can run it. Plus, when I run the material through the sluice box, it'll refill in my hole. A lot of people that come digging do not like to fill their holes for whatever reason. So right now I'm just throwing the tailings over here, filling for the last guy. And also, we'll see how much trash we can pick up by the end of the video. I'll throw that in my pack. Actually, I'll start a little pile over here and we'll keep digging. Here's what the material's looking like. It's kind of like big river rocks. And this sand right here is loaded with black sand. I've been to this area many times before, and if you guys are interested in knowing exactly where it is, I'll post coordinates and stuff below. I've made videos here in the past, but I'm pretty much right in the middle of, I mean, it's an urban area here. This is total urban prospecting. I think I need a little better flow on that water, so I'm going to build up my wall a little bit higher. The idea is to kind of channel the water into one spot. It's working. It's cleaning out the sluice pretty good. check out all the black sands that it collects. And if you're new to the show or new to prospecting, black sand is where you're gonna find your gold, because black sand is heavy. That's why it's getting trapped in these little vortexes, or whatever Tree Matt calls them, these little cells. All right, I couldn't help myself. I'm gonna go ahead and do a test pan just to see how much gold is in one scoop here. Sorry for the lighting, it's getting late. I always have decent luck here. I've never come away from here without gold, let's put it that way. And it's no big secret. I encourage anybody to come out, give it a try. It's pretty cheap to get started. You can buy yourself a gold panning kit. If you're interested, I'll have a link below for all that stuff. And you can see already that material is starting to get darker. All the heavy material is collecting, including the gold, if there's any. It might be a little bit. So I'm gonna have to remove those rocks by hand because they'll knock the gold away. Let's see if there's any gold in here. Yeah, you see a little piece of flour gold in the top. There's another piece of flour gold right there. I'm not seeing any more than that one little piece of flour gold. So one piece of flour gold per scoop. Not terrible, not great, but at least it's gold. All right, I'll tell you right now, we only have that much daylight left, and it's taken forever to shovel one little shovel over here, let it clear out. My water flow is actually good. If it's cleaning out the overburden and leaving the black sand behind, the water flow here is perfect. The thing is, it's just taken so long. So instead of messing around with the sluice box, I know they're supposed to save time and everything, but honestly, man, unless you're running it all day long, by the time it takes to set everything up and build everything out and shovel it in, I could just pan it with the super sluice gold pan. This is pretty much my workhorse right here. I can pan a whole bucket in like 5 minutes probably. So that's what I'm gonna do. We'll clean that out, we'll put it into a bucket, we'll bring all that stuff home, and any concentrates I pan out here, we'll bring those home as well. It's just a matter of efficiency and getting things done quicker. I could just work this thing so much faster than trying to mess around with the sluice box all day. I mean, if you're running all day long, it's not a bad idea to have a sluice box or a high banker or something like that. But personally, I usually run maybe no more than 10 buckets a day. That's all my back is good for, to be honest. And just using one of these big gold pans, I can rip through a full bucket in like 2 or 3 pans usually in, you know, a couple minutes. This pan is so heavy with black sands, it's crazy. I gotta be careful here. I don't want to pan off too much. But I mean, I could see black sand all around here. I might just bring all this home. I'll also clean out the sluice box. I'll probably run 3 or 4 more buckets. It's getting dark. So I'll dig those buckets, I'll pan them out, I'll clean out the sluice box, and we'll process everything back at the shop. All right, we are back at the shop. Now, after I got done filming, I ran 2 more buckets. So I ran 1 bucket through the sluice and then 3 buckets with the super sluice. Now, each bucket wasn't completely full to the top. They were about 3/4 of the way full. So 4 3/4 buckets equals about 3 buckets. So this is what 3 buckets of concentrates looks like. And as you can see, there's tons of black sand in there. We do have some bigger rocks that got through, but the way we're gonna process this, because it is wet, we're gonna wet classify. I'm just gonna take a dollar store kitchen strainer and we're gonna rinse this material through here. Got to add water to this pan, and we're just going to separate the big and small material. Okay, here's our plus and minus kitchen strainer size material. Now this is so heavy. There's so much black sand in here. I'm just going to take my magnet and I'm going to bring it down to the surface just to demonstrate how much black sand is actually in here. It's crazy. Crazy to try to pan this stuff out as is. So in order to process this correctly, I totally have to dry this out and then remove the black sand once it's dry. Unfortunately, you cannot remove the black sand when the material's wet. Otherwise, you know, going like this, there's gold in there. So the way I dry this out is I'm just gonna let it sit out in the sun for a couple hours. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and pan this stuff out. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. Lots of little pieces of quartz. Some nice looking material in there, mineralized quartz. So let's bring over Crusty Rusty. I'll add some water and a little bit of jet dry to break the surface tension of the water. Now I would bet my paycheck that we're not going to find any gold in here unless there's like a small piece of flour gold stuck to one of these rocks for whatever reason. If we find a piece of gold in here, that would be awesome. I have found large gold in Colorado before, but not at this location. I think I need more water. Okay, let's see if there's any gold in here. I really don't think there's gonna be. It would be nice though. Nope, not even flour gold. Okay. All right, we got it dried out. Now we're gonna try to remove as much of the black sand as we possibly can. Because if we didn't, this stuff would be so difficult to pan. We'd be using a spoon to pan one spoonful at a time, and I really don't feel like doing that. So let's go ahead and try to remove this magnetic stuff. If we shove the magnet down in there, you can see how much black sand we have. I'm just going to take my time here and try to remove as much black sand as I can, and then we can get to panning. Hey, look at that. That's crazy. There's a lot more. All right, here we have our magnetic material removed. There's actually not as much as I thought there was gonna be. There's still a lot, but there's not as much as I thought there was gonna be. All right, I'm gonna start off by panning the magnetic stuff. I always pan the magnetic material because you never know, even though it's dry, gold can still actually come up with it. I've seen it happen. All right, so I mean, it's probably not worth filming, but there is one little tiny piece of flour gold that came up with the magnet. So now we're just gonna do 1 spoonful of this material with the magnetic stuff removed, just to kind of gauge the difficulty. But look at that, there's still so much black sand in it, even though I removed probably, I mean, 90 to 95%. This stuff isn't magnetic though. This stuff is more like crushed quartz, crushed garnet. There's still some black sands in there, probably some hematite, non-magnetic black sands. And this is where we're gonna see gold. And I don't see any gold. It was pretty easy to pan. All right, so I do want to take my time with this stuff because you got to remember this is all concentrates. And there's 2 pieces of flour gold. There's one, and another one went down here somewhere. And I'll just grab them as I see them. We got some gold. All right, we're not rich yet. All right, we're on the next pan, and I see a piece of gold right there in the center, right there. I'll just grab it, and not much more than that. All right, this is pan 3. Let's see if we can find a flake. I think I see one. Yep, I see a flake right there. Right there's a nice flake peeking through. There's a few flakes in there. Oh, nice. A lot of garnets. A couple flakes up here at the top. There's another one. The further we get down, the better the gold's looking, which is usually the case. All right, this is the 4th. I don't see any gold in that one. I didn't pan as much that time either. Sometimes it's faster to actually pan a smaller amount. All right, I think this is pan 5. All right, a little bit of flour gold. I see 2 or 3 specks, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a lot. That's what I expected. This is the last pan. All right, this is the last one. Let's spin it back. All right, this is our last chance to find a nice flake. There's a piece. It's actually a chunkier little piece. There's a couple more flakes right there. Some more flour gold in here. Grab that last flake right there. You see it floating on the surface tension of the water. All right, I think we did actually pretty good. Let's take a look at how much gold we got in about 3 buckets. Actually, that ain't bad at all for 3 buckets out of that spot. I really wasn't expecting this much gold. But if you do come to this location, this is about the size of the gold you can expect to find. This was only 3 buckets. If you run 10 buckets, you're gonna find probably 3 times as much, a little bit more. I will link the location down below, like, you know, a Google Maps link or something like that, so you can see exactly where it is. You know right where to dig. You know what kind of gold to expect from that exact location. You kind of know the difficulty on how hard it is to pan out the concentrates and everything. And if you have a couple people out there and you run, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 buckets, I mean, you can get some significant gold from that area that's actually worth something. You might be able to buy a steak dinner or something afterwards. For me, it's more about the process and the adventure of going out and just seeing if I could do it and find some gold. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, definitely do that. I put out treasure hunting videos on this channel all the time. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.
Thanks everyone for watching my video. If you're still here, you're one of the 42% that actually watched the whole thing, so I really appreciate that. Also, a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members on the screen. And if you like this video, you're going to like the other ones linked here on the screen as well. And thanks for watching.